And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us here. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, investing, refinancing. And we have 80 different categories of experts. Mark Haye back in studio with us, one of our best expert contributors, all things financial related, 21st Century Financial. $2,000 Trump tariff rebate checks going out, Mark. That's going to be big news. Also, Florida Attorney General launches an investigation into J.P. Morgan Chase. Those are some of the topics I wanted to get to. Give a little teaser of what you're going to talk about today, my friend.
Yeah, because it's Veterans Day this week, I wanted to just talk about their pensions and maximum out so we can help all our veterans out.
Yeah, help the veterans. I know we had Jay Collins on last week, and he had a novel idea about getting the VAs reimagining the VAs with bringing in some private businesses, because as we know, competition in the private market, the private sector can add to innovation and bring in new ideas. So, I love that idea. I think that was pretty cool. And a recent post from Anna Paulina Luna says, regarding the $2,000 checks to everyone in the country, see below post from POTUS. So he's talking about, says, people that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation, record high stock market, 401ks are highest ever. We are talking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt, $37 trillion. So record investment in the United States, plants and factories going up all over the place. Dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. So the question is, who's a high-end person, who's not? Where do you think that number cuts off at?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see what they say is low to middle income. You know what I mean? Does it go off of your tax returns? Does it go off, what does it go off of?
Yeah.
And then it would have to pass, the Congress would have to pass a bill to do all this. But it's pretty cool that he's talking about it. It'd be nice to see it. Now, I would love to see him just put it towards the debt and pay the debt off. But $2,000 is a lot of money, especially to low-income people. And that
especially
would make
this time of year.
Difference. It'd make a big difference.
Yeah, this time of year, a lot of people complaining about groceries and gas. I know that in New Jersey, a lot of the talk was about the utility bills up there. They still elected a Democrat. But, the New Jersey race did show something, though. Jack Ciattarelli still got 120,000 more votes than he got the previous time running. So that state's still trending red. Unfortunately, they elected that lunatic that said he wants to kill his opponent's kids as the attorney general. I just don't understand it. I can't get behind it. And you also wonder about how much fraud's still going on in these elections. It's kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah, and I saw, too, though, that, they had like 500,000 more votes here in Jersey, and it all went Democrat, of course. And then they don't have 500,000 new people that moved to Jersey. So, where did those 500,000 come from? And so, I still think the voter fraud's happening.
Yep.
Unfortunately, nothing can be done about it. It just seems like it just happens and you move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, let's touch on a couple of hot listings. We'll come right back into this conversation with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors. If you want to contact us, contact the show, text the show, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors and watch previous shows as well. We've got a hot listing here at 9914 Ala Vista Drive. This one's in beautiful Gibsonton, Florida, Hillsborough County, on the Alafaya River, access to the Gulf of Mexico, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1922 square feet, $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team. You got a covered boat dock, 12,000-pound boat lift, 1,000-pound jet ski lift, solar power on the roof. And by the way, the roof has a 50-year galvanized standing seam metal roof, hurricane shutters as well. 9914 Ala Vista Drive, Gibsonton, Florida. Another beautiful listing from the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty, 12948 Twin Bridges Drive in Riverview. Another beautiful single-family home. This is a gorgeous property here. 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 3-car garage, 3235 square feet. And this home has owner pride. You've got a beautiful back lanai, huge island in the kitchen there, and a gorgeous lighter-colored theme, split floor plan, all the updates and upgrades that you would imagine in a newer home. Beautiful property. Triple Creek community offers lots of amenities. 3 community pools, splash pad, 2 clubhouses, fitness center, playgrounds, tennis and basketball courts. dog park, walking trail, and more. Check out our listing at 12948 Twin Bridges Drive, Riverview, Florida, at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. You can see all of our listings there. Search the MLS. And you can also see our radio, TV show expert contributors at ConsumerQB.com.
And yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
That's right. Shout out to our veterans out there. Thank you for all you do, and we greatly appreciate it. You know, this past week I was talking to Mark Hayes in studio with me here, and I'm your host, Brandon Rimes, and I was talking to some of the folks from Gray Bull Rescue. You know, some of the higher ups.
Yeah,
I was
they
talking.
do such a good job.
They did a great job, right? And they pulled about 340 Americans out. But, you know, it's just interesting because it reminds me of a story out of the Bible, Exodus. Mm-hmm. Remember Exodus when they're, making their way 400 years in bondage, and they're, Moses is leading them to the promised land through the desert. And what do they start doing, Mark? Do you remember? They start complaining.
Oh, right.
They start complaining.
We
had, at least back in Egypt, we had manna, or we had meat.
Yeah,
they wanted
bread
meat.
and meat. And,
yeah. So, but in the desert, they had manna, and God would fall from the sky, milk and honey, some type of a concoction. But anyways, the people from Gray Bull Rescue, the Americans, were complaining at the airports. Oh, well, why didn't I get on that first flight? And just complaining about the wait and things like that. Like, you literally have Americans and people paying for your flight home, pulling you out of harm's way. And rescuing you. Gray Bull Rescue, Captain Will Smith Aviation, Brian Stern, the whole team, pulling them out of the harm's way with a Category 5 hurricane barreling down, and the human condition says, hey, let's complain about the conditions.
It's so sad. I tell people, we talk about all the time is, the 80-20. 20% of life's going to be bad, but if you focus on the 80, that's good. Your life's going to be so much better than just focusing on that 20 that's bad.
Yeah, right on.
Like, instead of saying, how come I didn't get on that flight, or why is it taking so long, the 80% is, thank you for coming here and rescuing me, because I need to get out of here. Like, anything I can do to help?
How about this? Yeah. I'm sitting in an air-conditioned airport.
Yeah.
I'm probably looking at a smartphone, just surfing the internet.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm checking out my Amazon order that I'm going to have delivered to my home when I get there.
We have so much to be thankful for.
Yeah.
And so don't spend any time on the 20% that's bad.
Exactly. And that's really
so much
true.
To be thankful for.
Dennis Prager, who I respect more than almost any author I've ever read, he wrote a whole book on the art of smiling, or the happiness. It was something about happiness effect, and he says it's like brushing your teeth. If you walk around with bad breath and you're blowing that bad breath on people's face, you have a duty to your fellow man to be in a cheerful mood, to be in a good mood. It reminds me of the smiling effect. If the FBI hostage negotiator I had on the show, by simply smiling in a negotiation, when you have that face-to-face interaction, is much better than, of course, texting or emailing. But just by simply smiling, the other person's going to be, it's going to be a much better, negotiation. They're going to have more mental acuity. They're going to have mental, they're going to want to, smile back, right?
Exactly.
So that reciprocal effect. So the smiling effect, it's throughout negotiations, but it's also just a daily life thing.
It's true too, because like if you go out to dinner, and have a server. If a server comes up smiling, it looks a lot better than a server coming up sad, angry, tired looking.
Yeah.
It just changes the whole dynamics.
Yeah.
Just that smile. It's crazy.
It really is. Yeah. Tell me all your problems. That's because that's what I came out to dinner to hear. Or make my dinner a little bit more enjoyable, and you'll get a little bit better tip.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. So, let's jump into some of these topics here, Mark. You always bring a lot of information centered around the finance side. We always request that our audience get a review from you because I know we've had our personal items, whether it's taxes or investments reviewed by you, and you've put us on the right track, helped us out. I know a lot of our show partners have as well. But what do you see that's current right now, and why should our audience care?
Yeah, so because it's Veterans Day this week, I figured we would talk about veterans. And the biggest thing that veterans have, just like cops have and firemen and teachers all have, is a pension. Most people don't have pensions anymore. The private sector got rid of them, and 401k, et cetera. But they have pensions. And so the biggest thing that we talk about with these people is, how do you maximize that pension? And when we say maximize that pension, how do you get the most amount of income out of that? So there's really two options, and I'm not going to go through everything, but I'm just going to make it very simple. There's two options. you can elect to have a single life pension or a joint life pension. And a single life just means it's on one life. And let's say you get $5,000 a month of income and you die, your spouse or your wife would get $0. Okay.
Wow.
Or you can choose a joint life, but a joint life is going to give you less income. So if you said, okay, I'm going to choose joint life, I get $3,500 a month, but if I die, my wife gets $3,500 a month. Okay, so there's a gap there of $1,500 that we lose every single month because we're going to leave some money to my wife.
Right.
Okay. So how do you maximize that? Well, again, the government's going to make you do 457, 401k, 403b, TSP, and so they put you in these plans where now your pension's locked up. You can't get it because it's not liquid account.
Can't access it.
Then you put it into a 401k or 403b. That's locked up to 59.5, unless you want to pay taxes and a penalty of 10% and plus your taxes. And so these teachers and these cops and these veterans, unfortunately, they don't make a lot of money.
Right.
You know, and so now they're living paycheck to paycheck, putting into the pension and the 401k. They can't get to the money. So if they need the money, they got to, have some kind of emergency fund where they hardly have emergency fund. Because it's very hard to raise a family of 4 on $60,000 a year, or even $75,000, whatever that they're making.
Yep.
So how do you maximize it? How do you do all this? And so I show people all the time, especially veterans, if you're putting away $300-$400 a month into your 401k or 457, why don't you take that $300 or $400 a month and put it inside cash value? And now the money stays liquid. You're still saving for retirement. The money stays liquid, but you're leveraging a big giant death benefit in the event that something should happen to you, to replace a taxable income. Because most people don't realize.
You get options.
Let's say you don't make it to retirement.
Right.
Let's say you're counting on this pension, and unfortunately you died at 45 or 55. I don't know. You died. What happens to your pension? And every time you ask that, the spouse and the client will just look at me and go, I don't know, she would get it. No, you lose the pension. Wow. You might have a $100,000 group life insurance that you would get, to replace what you would have had. But that's why it's so important to put that money inside cash value. Who cares about a 401k at that point? Your biggest asset is going to be that pension. How do you maximize that? Well, why don't you put the money over here, keep it liquid, and then get that tax-free death benefit? And the sooner you do it, like if you start, in the military at 20 or 30 years old, and you say, I want to do that, I want to put $300-$400 away into it, when you get to retirement, that's going to be paid up. And you don't have any insurance cost. And now all of a sudden, you take the single life pension, you get $5,000 a month, plus you have a boatload of cash sitting in tax-free cash value. And now if your spouse, let's say your spouse died before you, you still get your $5,000 a month. You get no reduction of income. And so now you're sitting on a pocket of cash that you can, spend or supplement in retirement tax-free. But if you die before your spouse, again, you're replacing that income that was taxable with a tax-free income via the death benefit.
Yeah.
And so we maximize these pensions. But the problem is everybody gets into the 401k, 403b trap, and then what? Let's use our scenario. You're 45, 50 years old, and you die, your pension dies with you, and your wife now inherits $100,000 in a 401k. That's taxable, by the way. Wow. So she can net $70,000. And what is she going to do with that? What do you do with $70,000? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When you're expecting $5,000-$6,000 a month of a pension via the the military, the cops, the firemen, etc.
Right.
And so it's really, really advantageous to do this sooner than later. Don't wait till the final hour of, I'm going to retire now, I'm going to take my pension, because now it's too late. You might not have the health even required to get life insurance because you can't just get it. You got to qualify. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you have heart attacks and diabetes and stuff happens throughout life. You know what I mean? So the sooner you do it, the better.
Timing is so much better.
Timing is better.
Because then you get what's this eighth wonder of the world, right?
Yeah.
That
compounding interest. Yeah. But you can go into retirement, say, okay, I'm 65, I'm going to retire, I want to take that single life pension. There's a $1,500 difference per month of income. I'll get a life insurance policy, and $500 or $1,000 a month goes towards a premium. That's a lot of money, though, that you got to spend in retirement out of your income to supplement that when you could just do it when you're younger. And again, instead of putting into the 401k or 403b, put it inside cash value. You're still saving the same amount of dollars.
Yeah.
You're just doing it more effectively.
Sure.
Tax efficiently, liquidity. You're leaving the death benefit to replace the pension that you lost. And then people don't realize, too, it's not just a pension you lose. You're losing a Social Security, too. So if that spouse dies and you lose a pension, you also lose the smallest Social Security. So that's two incomes that you're going to lose, and you got nothing to replace it with.
Still have the same house.
Yeah, except for
auto.
the 401k that's worth $100,000. Because on average, we already did this study 1,000 times. It's less than $100,000 that people have in their 401k by the time they're 65.
Yeah.
So how's the wife going to maneuver that?
Yeah, the average savings of the American is less than
it's
a couple
very,
grand.
very low. I think
low.
half the people don't even have emergency funds anymore.
Exactly.
Because everything costs so much. And again, it goes back to that. If you're a teacher, a fireman, a cop, and a veteran, a military, whatever, you're not making a ton of money.
Yeah.
And so if you're putting all your money in stuff that's locked up, pension, 401k, 403b, you can't get to the money. That's when, have an emergency. Oh, my car broke down. I need new air conditioning, whatever. Now you're taking out credit card debt, and then the credit card's 25%, and you can never get ahead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then your mortgage is 7%. And, so it's hard when you can't access money.
Yeah. So I love the option then is the cash value life insurance option. Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial. Talk to him about it. Reach out, get a review, take a look. This is the time of year to look at these things. Take a little bit of the downtime that you have between Christmas and New Year or the holidays here. A little bit of downtime for some people. Investigate that. Take a look. Dive deep. Instead of planning the vacation or your fantasy football teams, take a look at some of these these things that actually matter. And I want you to think about this between the break when we come back here. Trump floats a 50-year mortgage to tackle the housing crisis. President Donald Trump proposed government-backed 50-year mortgages to reduce monthly payments for homeowners amid soaring prices and high interest rates, likening it to the FDR 30-year model during the Great Depression. So we'll dive into that. We'll talk about some of the pros and cons there. And a lot of people are saying, hey, just get the illegals out of our country. That'll free up a lot of the housing. It'll reduce, of course, the demand on our hospitals and infrastructure as well. So I agree with that also. Quick break, right back. More with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial, and Trump floating the 50-year mortgage. We'll talk about that. Pros and cons coming up here. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my good friend, Brandon Rimes. Stay tuned.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com. Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894. consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. B Rimes at KW.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. B Rimes at KW.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, OursCreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, OursCreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com. Looking to level up your sales game? With 20 plus years of coaching experience spanning across several industries, Lindsay Rimes helps everyone from entry-level reps to seasoned business owners boost sales, improve work-life balance, and retain top talent with customized options catered to personal, group, or corporate settings. Brandon and Lindsay Rimes offer training on negotiation strategy, business development, and more. Let's grow your business together. Call 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894.
888-917-1894. Submit an email at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, President Trump floats a 50-year mortgage to tackle the housing crisis. Mark Haye is going to weigh in on that. We got a listing here, Weeki Wachee Marina. Great opportunity. Anybody looking to buy or invest, maybe have a 1031 exchange situation. We've got 7154 Shoreline Boulevard available in Weeki Wachee. This is 3/4 an acre. Waterfront, you've got a business, you've got the marina, you've got the gift shop there where you're selling fishing and boating supplies. You've got the authorized Suzuki servicer on site where you can repair the motors and the vessels. You have rental opportunities there as well. John Boat, kayak, paddle boards as well. 7154 Shoreline Boulevard. We have the listing for the Weeki Wachee Marina right up there where the mermaids are all at. So check them out online. Platinum MVP Team. .kw.com, search the MLS, and also consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com.
This is God's country.
All right, so big news. Trump's floating this idea of a 50-year mortgage. Now, Mark, there's two ways to look at this. Number one is a lot of people are weighing in, the amortization schedule, the banks, the 50-year mortgage. Yes, you're going to. What I like about it, let's start with what I like first, is that you're going to increase affordability. People will be able to get into those homes, your lower payment. Now, we hope that they have the discipline to know they have to pay more to the principal in order to attack that. You can do that with a biweekly mortgage payment. You can throw an extra $1,000 at the end of the year, maybe when you get a Christmas bonus. Now, the other thing that stands true is let's get the illegals out of our country. That's going to bring down affordability. It's going to free up the amount of homes that are available. Let's get BlackRock and State Street, Vanguard, all those big companies out of buying up the single-family homes. But there's two different ways to look at this. What's your take on it, Mark?
I mean, if I'm a financial institution like a bank or like a Bank of America that gives out mortgages, I want a 50-year mortgage because I get way more interest. Let's use $500,000 at 7% for 30 years. That's probably $40,000 a year in payments.
Yep.
$3,000 a month. So if you did that over 50 years, right? So let's say 30. So that's $1.2 million over a 30-year period you paid for a $500,000 house. You got 20 years to go. If you default in year 30, guess what happens? They get to keep the whole $1.2 million and they get the house back in year 30. That's worth, instead of $500,000, worth $2 million, right? And then they turn around, sell it, and do a mortgage again, whatever that may be. I would do as long as possible if I was these banks. Mm-hmm. You're going to get more interest, and over a 50-year period, that $500,000 home, you're going to pay close to $2 million to that bank over a 50-year period. Like you said, if you don't pay extra into it, you're going to pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, the good news is the monthly payment comes down. You can afford more. But as a bank, I would be really excited.
Well, and also in Florida, we're going to eliminate property taxes. I hope that's on the ballot. A recent tweet from Jay Collins, Lieutenant Governor, says the Florida House is playing games and it needs to stop. They're introducing 8 different bills to confuse voters instead of the truth. Hey, let's just put one out there that says, do you want to eliminate property taxes on primary residences? Over 60% should say yes. I hope they say yes. If they don't, I kind of lose a little bit of respect for my fellow man out there. But a 50-year, I want to go back to this. Once you're into that 50-year mortgage for 5, 7, 8, 10 years, you're gonna have equity. Now you pull out a home equity line of credit if you needed it. You refinance the main mortgage into a tighter, maybe a 15-year So there's ways that you can do
down.
that. Interest rates come down. So there's ways around that. Mark, final thoughts back to you, my friend.
Yeah, like I said, if I'm an institution, I'm all for it. 40-year, 50-year, I don't care, because it gets them on the hook longer for you to keep all their payments and take the house back.
Yep.
And you're going to make way more in interest because you got 20 more years of that interest payment. That's insane.
Well, it's like you said before, though. The pensions have gone away. The one-income household from the 80s is gone. The mother used to stay at home a lot of times. So our country's changed. Is it time for a change? Or maybe we do a 40-year and not a 50-year.
No, I like it. So, But anyways, it's really good seeing you again. Happy Veterans Day to everybody this week. And thank you, veterans, for all you guys do.
Shout out to all of our vets, man. All of our
Absolutely.
servicemen and women, first responders, teachers, nurses, seniors, everybody out there. Greatly appreciate it. Please hit us up on the web, consumerqb.com. Take up Mark Haye on that review. Coming up, Thom Favorin. Speaking of vets, he's a veteran. He owns Crab Island Dips, Crab Island Seafood Dip. Coming up here, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right to the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Greatly appreciate everybody that supports the show. We had an uptick in calls lately of people calling in to get their properties on the market, refinanced, maybe introductions to our network. Again, 80 different categories, all the best consumer advocates here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got Thom Favorin in studio with us. Crab Island Dips, awesome local company here, local food, crabislandseafooddip.com. Delicious. We'll talk to him here in just a moment as well. Also, Florida Attorney General launches a investigation into J.P. Morgan Chase for debanking the Trump media group, in the state of Florida. We saw that last election cycle. Also, wanted to remind you of our party coming up, Dave. We got a party, Crown and Bull Restaurant, Dunedin. Excellent time coming up on December 4th, right around the corner, man.
It is right around the corner. So it's going to be over at the famous Crown and Bull Restaurant right in the heart of downtown Dunedin. That's at 319 Main Street. Dion Falzone and his staff out there are going to take care of us fantastically, as they always do. The ambiance, the food is fantastic. The light appetizers are going to be covered for everyone. I do believe someone said Santa is going to be paying a visit out there. So
yes, he is.
December 4th, 6:30 p.m. Come wearing some festive colors and get prepared to meet Santa.
Yeah, get your photos for your Christmas cards. Perfect time for Christmas cards to go out. Get your photos there. So come on out, join us. You're invited. Our audience is invited to this event. It's a free event that we always put on quarterly, monthly sometimes for our radio show listeners and our audience out there. Greatly appreciate everybody supporting the show and the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We always feature our real estate listings live on air. 5026 Mueller's Lane in Safety Harbor. Vacant land for sale. Great opportunity right here in Safety Harbor. Your walking distance to the park. Your 3/4 of an acre. Sparkling Gulf waters just a short drive away. 9 miles to Honeymoon Island. You're right there, beautiful in the heart of Safety Harbor. Build your dream home. In Safety Harbor, beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. Buy some dirt, build your home, and build that family. Build a legacy. Put a few limbs on that family tree, as they say. All right, let's take a look at another one here. We've got another single-family home at 1905 Horseshoe. 1905 Horseshoe is another one of our single-family listings. This is a owner-motivated property here. Plant City, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Got a beautiful pool there. Lighter color interiors. Walden Lakes offers walking trails, dog park fields, playgrounds combined as well. 322 at 1905 Horseshoe Drive, Plant City, Florida. You can see all of our listings. Search the MLS at platinummvpteam.kw.com. You can see all of our listings there as well. And you can see all of our expert contributors, all of our radio, TV show partners at consumerqb.com.
Only in America, dreaming in red, white, and blue.
All right, quick shout out to Lee's Royal Services, the official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's leesroyalservices.com, leesroyalservices.com. Home and office cleaning, leesroyalservices.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Also got a great cleaning on the exterior of my property from Heights Soft Wash, pressure washing company right here in Tampa Bay. They did a great job. They cleaned the pavers, the back porch, the lanai, sprayed down, washed all the windows. HeightsSoftWash.com, taking clean to new heights. Shout out to HeightsSoftWash.com. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got Thom Favorin back in studio, fellow veteran, welcome in on this
thank
Veterans
you.
Day week. Welcome in,
Yeah,
sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. What was your some of your best memories from being in the military?
So many. It's one of the big things that we did when we were stationed in Italy on my second deployment or second enlistment. And I think the bigger thing there was when I got there, everybody's like, oh, you got to go skiing. Well, I was married. Everything was in my household goods. So there was a new thing called DPP, Delayed Payment Plan.
Oh.
So it was brand new. Dating myself, and
Yeah.
guys were like, oh, let's go to the PX. So I got everything, soup to nuts, in one setting, and that started it. So every year we do an Army reunion. We pick a place, and we go skiing.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we're this March, we're going to be in Schweitzer, North Idaho.
Nice.
Idaho, yeah. So
Cool.
Little ski out thing.
Yeah. That's fun.
About 7 or 8 of us this year, and it's a great time to see all the buddies and do a little bit of skiing.
That's great, man. Yeah, thanks for your service.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for and tell us a little bit about your business, man. We love to support. I know our audience really loves to support veterans. They love to support the local economy. So crabislandseafooddip.com.
Yeah, so we started about 2.5 years ago. It's me and my business partner, Chef Carl Riding. He's the brains behind the flavors of these dips. We wanted to really see in the dip world. When you see dips, it's usually just a plain crab dip or a fish dip. So we came up with different flavors. We have a jalapeno popper crab dip, a Mexican street corn crab dip. So we're combining all these different flavors and adding the crab. So it's a well-balanced straight across. Our goal is to be as big as possible. I mean, that's everybody's dream, is to be a successful business owner. So right now we do farmers markets on the weekends, and then we just launched our wholesale side. So now restaurants and small community stores can get our stuff, put it out there for sale, and have everybody enjoy these dips.
I love that. Yeah, and the website crabislandseafooddip.com, crabislandseafooddip.com. And are you doing other things outside of the dips as well?
Yeah, so we do. We also do catering. What our goal is with the dips is it's just not a dip or spread in our fish spreads. We can cook with ours. So what we're doing is when we go out to restaurants and different facilities and say, hey, it's just not a dip. Let's look what we do. So we take some of our spinach artichoke. We did a beer battered stuffed cod.
Wow. Interesting.
Our crab rangoon, we did stuffed shells.
Nice.
Add a little stuffed shell, put it in there, smoked Gouda, a little vodka sauce, and then you have a full meal. It's just, so we're trying to introduce these as a base that you can grow upon.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, man. And it's all made and manufactured right here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we're right off Seminole Boulevard in Largo, Florida.
Yeah.
And we have a small production kitchen there, and we're shortly going to be having a brick and mortar there, too.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to come over to 12055 Seminole Boulevard. We're going to let you know when that's going to be opened up, but we'll be able to get you some dips and some other items, some fellow veterans that we're going to bring their businesses in, and so you'll be able to get a couple different things there as well, but all veteran-based.
Great idea. Yeah, great idea. I love that. It's interesting, too, with the way that there's models out there, at least from what I've seen with kitchens. You can rent kitchens for a certain amount of time in the days and things like that. So as you're scaling up as an entrepreneur, instead of taking on a full payment or a full building, sometimes you can scale up. Have you seen those or looked into those?
Yeah, the ghost kitchens.
Okay, is that what they call it?
Yeah, that's what we call it. So you can schedule your time. One of the big things with those, why we didn't go that route, we searched high and low for a standalone facility because you have to prep your time and you have to sign up ahead of time. And for us, our smoking process is 3 to 4 hours. It just didn't make sense for us to be able to go in there and spend that money. But ghost kitchens definitely have their place for smaller entities that can get in there, prep their time. A lot of food trucks use those.
Yep.
Because you have to have that license to be able to do a food truck. So.
Yeah. Food trucks were all the rage, at least, 4, 5, 6 years ago when they came out, man. It just seemed like there was a big explosion of those, kind of almost like the short-term rental market, too.
A lot of big because they do see the potential in it, getting their food out there. And then that's a lot of things that I see. I'm a member of the Tampa Bay ACF, which is the American Culinary Federation.
Okay.
And what they do is they certify chefs. So people out there, if you see someone that has like letters behind their name as a chef, that means that they're certified. They know what they're doing. They go in just like a doctor or like I was a paramedic. You have to take a written, you have to do a practical in front of master chefs to say, hey, I do know what I'm doing, and keep that certification up.
Yeah.
That's what the ACF does. It's a great organization.
Tampa Bay ACF.
And
good.
Yeah, and they we're now reintroducing, as in food trucks, that's a line of chefs that people didn't really know about. So we're seeing an uptick in that, of bringing those chefs on to the ACF and saying, hey, look what I can do. And some of these guys are just amazing with their product, and they're just doing it out of food truck.
I'd be curious to know how many hours they have to do. And the reason I mention is because, in real estate, I see some pretty bad realtors out there. I see some realtors that do shady things or just things that just aren't diligent, we'll put it that way. And it's a 62-hour course to get your license to sell real estate, to walk people through their largest financial transaction in their life. In most cases, folks in Tampa Bay and Florida, throughout the state and the nation, but in Florida or the nation, it's 63-hour course that you have to pass to handle real estate transactions. There's a lot of moving parts: insurances, mortgage, title, all these different scams that are coming out now. People attacking essentially the title fraud situation, and so I was kind of curious sometimes, how to get a hairstylist licensing. I think it's a lot of hours. I think it's in the hundreds of hours that you need to cut people's hair. But in real estate, it's a 63-hour course.
Yeah, for licensing, we go through the FDA and Florida Department of Agriculture.
Yep. So
we're fully licensed. We have full inspections. They come in twice a year, do all of our inspections, and then we also have a company that handles our HACCP plans to make sure that they're up to date.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, you remember back in the day, it was the FDA. The guy in Florida was Charles Bronson. Not to be confused with the actor. Remember that? I remember when I first got my mortgage license, I was like, Charles Bronson, what? But he's the old actor, and that happened to be the guy's name. That was the head of the Florida Department of Agriculture back in the day.
Yeah, that's before my time.
Yeah,
I've been down here 10 years.
Okay.
So I'm originally from Philly.
Okay. Cool.
And moved down here after my paramedic career.
Got it. Nice. So. Yeah, good stuff, man. If you just joined us, we're talking with Thom Favorin. He is a military veteran, and he is a owner of CrabIslandSeafoodDip.com, local company. Support the local economy. He's got great dips. He does catering as well. Veteran-owned, locally owned company right here out of Largo. He's got his business partner there, Chef Carl. CrabIslandSeafoodDip.com. We want you supporting the local economy. Of course, we talk a lot about that here on the Consumer Quarterback Show by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors. I wanted to touch on some of the latest real estate statistics that just recently have come out. This is fresh off the email this morning. Detached residences. So some of the highlights. New listings are plus 1.1 month over month. So not as much new listings as we saw. It's plus 20.6 year over year. So listings are up 20% year over year. Available inventory is down slightly. That's a little bit surprising, month over month, inventory being down. And then year over year, it's up 21%, almost 22%. So more inventory piling up on the market. Again, slower sales causes that. Pending and under contract is down 3.8% month over month, but it's up 12% year over year. So again, pending contracts seem to be moving in the right direction. That's good. Could that be seasonal? Could that be since we're in the November timeframe now? possibly. I see that. Closed sales plus 18% year over year. So we are closing more sales than we did last year, 18%. This is market-wide throughout Tampa Bay, detached residences, okay? Month supply of inventory, 3.9%. 3.9 months supply. So it's still a seller's market. So 3.9 is still on this side of a seller's market. Once you get 5 to 7, that's a balanced market. Anything over 7 will be considered a buyer's market. Think back to the mortgage meltdown back in 2008. Median price in Tampa Bay is $410,000. That is down 2.4% year over year. Now, what's causing that? I would venture to say it's the amount of price reductions that you're seeing, people putting their properties on the market, being a little bit ambitious, and then figuring out after 30, 45 days, 60, 90 days, saying, hey, we have to reduce our price. So that's why you see median price at $410,000 in Tampa Bay, down 2.4% year over year. Days on market, 57 days. So the average detached single-family residential property is 57 days on market. That's plus 13 days year over year. Again, so taking longer to sell, yeah, that makes sense. That's the trend that we're seeing. Percentage of price reductions, almost 60% of all closings are having a price reduction on them. That's a big number. That number wasn't there 2 and 3 years ago. All right, and then median sales price to list price ratio, 93.8%. So again, you list it, you hope you get 100% of your asking price, Tom. In most cases, you don't. You get about 93.8. Not bad. Close to 95% of what you're asking for. And hopefully the agents are leading them in the right direction. They're pricing the properties properly where they need to be priced. So good stuff there. So there's your real estate market update from the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brandon Rimes, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Coming up, more with Thom Favorin here, Crab Island Seafooddip.com. Also, Florida Attorney General, that's James Altemeyer. He's launched an investigation into J.P. Morgan Chase. Find out a little bit more about that when we come back. Consumer Quarterback Show online at consumerqb.com. Follow us at Brandon Rimes1 at CQB Show. And please subscribe to our YouTube and Rumble channels. Hey, we're approaching 1 million views. Help us get there. We appreciate it. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rimes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Tired of long lines at the airport? Check out Tampa Bay's premier private jet source. I'm Brandon Rimes for Will Smith Aviation, aircraft management, acquisition, and sales, luxury jet escapes, and packages. Check them out online, willsmithaviation.com. That's willsmithaviation.com, or call the show. I'll put you right in touch directly with Captain Will Smith. Values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, online at DavidReynoldsJewelryandCoin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Coble, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for our friends at TargetSurveying.net. For all of your surveying needs, land surveying firm providing services for real estate since 1992, and they are statewide. Check them out online, TargetSurveying.net. That's TargetSurveying.net. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing, we would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rimes here in studio. Our friend Thom Favorin, military veteran, CrabIslandSeafoodDip.com. You can see him at some of the local farmers markets. He's going to give you a rundown of where you can find him and his awesome food coming up here in just a moment. Also, we have a bar for sale out in Plant City here, Hillsborough County, 5402 West US Highway 92 in Plant City. We've got a bar for sale. This one has the 4 COP license where you can take that on to locations. So, for example, if you're going to different markets or maybe Gasparilla, you can have that license and serve alcohol on location. So different concert series, things like that is how that works. It's got to be in the county. So pretty cool idea. You know, by the bar, you got the building, you got the bricks and mortar there, the land, the parking, and you have this 4 COP license, very valuable life. Online presence as well. And I tell you, the Facebook thread's heating up on that one, man. We've had a bunch of shares, a bunch of comments, interesting, some interesting comments that we've had to hide, but it's, you know how that goes. But yeah, so check out a bar for sale there. You can see all of our listings, Platinum MVP Team. .kw.com. You can see all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. Links to our previous shows, consumerqb.com. Again, almost to 1 million views, so please like, share, and subscribe. Greatly appreciate everybody supporting the show. consumerqb.com. All right, Tom, where are you going to be at? You got events coming up?
Yeah, we have. So we do farmers markets, like I said, on the weekends. So first one is Saturdays, every Saturday at the St. Pete Saturday Market down there at the Al Lang Stadium from 9 to 2. Coming in, we're in the 400 section. Great time down there. Live music, great food, our dips, which is the plus. And then on Sundays, we do Safety Harbor on Main. It's a great time. Also, music, foods, dips.
Nice.
It's a great time. They always Santa's going to be coming soon.
Yeah.
There. So, and then we're going to be in Dunedin here shortly. I'll let you know on the dates and that, but we're getting that squared away, so we'll be in there here shortly.
Yeah, that's great, man. Get out and support the local economy. And check them out on Saturday, St. Pete. You got awesome. I've been down to that one before. Really cool environment.
It's a great time.
Yeah, good time. Go check out Tom and his company, Crab Island Dips, and meet the team and buy some dips and buy some. It's that time of year. Some holiday parties, Christmas parties, and a great dip to have around.
It's great, too, yeah. And it's frozen, so 6 months in your freezer, 30 days in your fridge.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, interesting stuff, too, coming out of the state now. You notice this Florida Doge efforts around the state. Florida CFO Blazing Nolia, he's been going around the state just hammering out some of these local municipalities, finding this waste, fraud, and abuse at the local level. And they're, in an effort to eliminate property taxes. You got one here that's talking about some of the governments are complaining about the audit methodology, and they're trying to figure out, hey, where are you finding out how this money's being vested? So when you look at the excessive spending, $22 million last year, which was the lowest of the local governments. And I think was that the Orlando one? I'm trying to remember for the FAFO audit. But yeah, going around the state, $1.5 billion now that they've snuffed out. They found excessive waste and spending. And Gainesville, for example, the Gainesville government is currently advertising to hire a manager of immigrant affairs under the Office of Equity and Inclusion at $90,000 a year. And Blaze Angolia says, stop wasting money on this crap and cut property taxes. Stop expanding DEI and give the money back to Floridians. That's what I vote for. We got to have one bill. We want it all into one bill, according to Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins and, of course, Ron DeSantis. So we want it all under one bill. Tom, how can people connect with you?
So on our social media, it's Crab Island Seafood. Just look us up. And then if you want to reach out to us, it's 727-688-1949 or sales@crabislanddips.com.
All right, sales@crabislanddips.com. Thom Favorin, thanks for coming in, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
All right, my pleasure. Well, hey, another great show. We had Mark Haye on the front end. We debated that 50-year mortgage, and we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.